speaking of martyrs and people who have been really unfairly put upon, let me ask you about Meghan Markle.
Is he all right upstairs?
One of the great martyrs of our time.
Poor thing. Her castle was so small.
What do you mean by that?
She is apparently getting back into the podcast lane thanks to this far left pro-women Lemonada company. Richard Eden over in the Daily Mail, your old hot, has a piece today saying they're struggling to get this thing out of the starting blocks. No podcasts are even expected anytime this year and not until 2025.
Okay.
And the podcast, by the way, is going to celebrate the joys of cooking, or at least something she's doing. Her Netflix show, I guess, is going to celebrate the joys of cooking, gardening, entertaining, and friendship, Piers. She's going to be teaching us how to be a good friend.
Nice.
I can't wait to find out from Meghan Markle what that's like.
Well, as one of the many friends that she cut off spectacularly the moment she got a bit of royal action, along with her entire family, of course, on both sides, apart from her mother.
Yeah, right.
I don't think Meghan Markle's in any position to be lecturing anybody about friendship. It always made me laugh that the Archewell website, their charitable foundation, says it's dedicated to compassion. I mean, it's hard to imagine two people who've been less compassionate in the last few years to the ones around their loved ones than these two, right? This is two people who trashed all their family.
And?
Whether it was her father or whether it was Harry's entire family at a time when Prince Philip and the Queen were both dying. There they were on national television, from Oprah Winfrey to Netflix to whoever, as the Spotify guy put it, whatever grift they could get paid for, up they were trashing their families.
Are you sure about that?
So the idea now that they're reduced, or that certainly Meghan Markle is now reduced from somebody who, remember Meghan, she had a fairy tale royal wedding that was seen around the world. The carriages drawn down to Windsor Castle and so on. It was an amazing event. Everyone in this country, I'm in the UK at the moment, everyone loved that marriage when it happened. There was a universal support for it, euphoria. It was only their behavior in the first year of their marriage when they began to behave rankly hypocritically, lecturing about poverty whilst having $500,000 baby showers, to lecturing us about the need to watch our carbon footprint and using Elton John and George Clooney's private jets like taxi cabs.
You got me.
And it was the constant hypocrisy that they got picked up on by the media, and then they couldn't handle the criticism from the media, and then it all turned hostile. Then they started suing everybody, and the whole thing got so toxic. Eventually, they just say, we've had enough of this. We're not going to do any more dreary duties on a wet Wednesday, which is what you have to do to earn your royal titles in the estimation of the public. And they decamped off to Montecito, bought themselves a massive mansion. And they were supposed to be doing it, Meghan, if you remember, this was going to be their liberation, their freedom, and it was supposed to make them happy. I've never seen two more miserable people who never stop whining and suing absolutely everybody.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
Yes.
In the pretense that this is because they found their liberation and freedom. If you're so damn happy and free and liberated, well, shut up, stop whining and complaining about everything. But they're obviously not happy. And it's obviously been diminishing returns where when you trash your family again and again and again, eventually there's not much left to say.
Fact.
And people don't really want to hear it. It's like the Spotify guy said, they're just a pair of grifters who just want to trash their family for loads of money and not put a shift in to do proper work. You and I know how hard it is to do this kind of thing properly. It's a lot of work with a dedicated team, and you put the hours in, and you've got to be creative and high energy and really put graft in.
Okay.
These two wanted to do massive deals with companies and then not do any work. Nobody wants to see her next podcast. Nobody listened to the first one. And that's for this thing she's now doing with the ridiculously long name that no one can remember. Where she's going to try and
Riviera,
be the
American, whatever. I have to write it to American Riviera Orchard, see footnote 47 for the remainder of the name.
Right, and she's now got all her celebrity, sort of B-list, C-list mates putting out Instagram posts about her jam, and it's like, how the mighty fall. This was a woman who had it all in this country. who literally had it all and is now flogging jam from her kitchen in Montecito.
What?
While her husband runs around fuming about absolutely everything and everyone, because he knows, in his gut, he knows what he's lost. And eventually, those chickens will come home to roost.
Fact.
And then she will be touting their eggs on her stupid website where she's wearing evening gowns while walking around her mansion that we're supposed to feel sorry for her because she's in. I love it. But on the grifter subject, one of the funniest things that was Bill Simmons, who said that at Spotify, I've never seen such a pair of grifters. They wouldn't do any work.
Why?
She got paid all this money. She barely did anything. Him too.
Yeah.
And now she signs this pod deal with this Lemonada. We're not getting a podcast for years. And then she decides to sign this deal with Netflix. She's done nothing other than now this show she's going to do on cooking and friendship. Finally, okay, we'll believe it when we see it. And then finally, she's got her little Riviera thing going, where so far we've had one jar of strawberry jam. She's so lazy.
It's the whole thing. It's sort of lazy and a bit pathetic, you know.
God, please, no! No!
This is somebody who demands that we use the title Duchess of Sussex. I come from Sussex, which is a county in the south of England. I've spent more time in Sussex in the last month than Meghan Markle has spent in her entire life. She has actual right.
She's your ruler, Piers. I didn't know that. She's your...
She ain't my ruler, Meghan Kelly. She is somebody who, listen, as I've said to you, I think many times before, if they actually want to do this kind of thing and trade themselves around as sort of, celebrities and do that sort of circus, then they can do it, but they can't do it with the royal title.
Fact.
They shouldn't be using the royal titles of Duke and Duchess of Sussex, bestowed on them by the monarchy, an institution they constantly complain about and trash whenever they get the chance. Fine, if you want to go off and be celebrities in California, do it. But don't trade on the titles.
That was easy.
Every time I see her demanding to be called Duchess of Sussex, I laugh. Nobody in Britain calls her that. Meghan Markle. She got lucky, met her prince, dragged him out of the bosom of his family, dragged him away from the monarchy, which bestowed those titles on them, and has now ruthlessly, with him, exploited those titles for massive personal gain.
What do you mean by that?
And I think it's disgusting and hypocritical. They shouldn't be allowed to do it. I hope that King Charles, who obviously is massively distracted by his illness, but I hope that King Charles at some stage just has that conversation and says, you can't keep the titles, I'm sorry.
Come on now, dog.
But you can't keep demeaning the status of being a member of the royal family and attacking the family and the monarchy and retain your titles. You can just be Harry and Meghan. And see how you get on, by the way, when you're no longer royals. Because the answer is not very far.
That's right. Who wants your jam then? Did you know Fast Growing Trees is the biggest online nursery in the U.S. with more than 10,000 different kinds of plants and over 2 million happy customers?
What is he doing?
Well, now you can grow lemon, avocado, olive, or fig trees. They have houseplants too. Fast Growing Trees makes it easy to order online and ship directly to your door in 1 to 2 days. You can even speak to their specialists for a free consultation.
Boring.
You can find the perfect fit for your specific climate, location, and needs. Whether you're looking to add some privacy, shade, or natural beauty to your yard, Fast Growing Trees is ready to help you make the right selection from their nursery. Right now, they have some of the best deals online, like up to half off on select plants and more. Viewers get an additional 15% off when using the code Meghan at checkout.
So that was a f***ing lot.
It's an additional 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com. Use the code MEGYN at checkout. Go to fastgrowingtrees.com, code Meghan. This offer won't last forever. Tell them I sent you. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.
Sad. I think the monarchy is damaged. Personally, I do. But given where we were this time last week, my view is it's the right conclusion. Well, let me ask somebody who was with us last week and who studied these things for many, many years.
Are you serious?
I'm joined by Phil Dampier, royal commentator and author of Royally Suited, Harry and Meghan in Their Own Words. Phil, good morning to you.
Good morning, Nigel.
So, I have to say,
Okay.
when the Queen said she'd do this in days, she has, hasn't she?
She certainly has, Nigel, and she's acted decisively. I think I was on your show last week, and I said that I didn't think that she would strip them of the titles, and I also said that I thought they were a bargaining chip. So I suppose I was half right. She hasn't technically stripped them of the titles, but of course they're not using them. But as you say, even last night on their website, they were referring to themselves as their Royal Highnesses. So they do like to sort of be unpredictable, this couple.
Stop it.
And you don't really know where you are with them. But interestingly, one commentator, Alistair Bruce, who does know a lot about these things, was saying last night that he thought that almost the titles were in cold storage, in abeyance, and they could literally be defrosted at a moment's notice sometime in the future.
Are you serious?
And reused. So
yes.
I don't know what circumstances he foresaw that might happen. I suppose possibly if Harry, if God forbid they split up and Harry wants to come back and carry on with his royal duties, I suppose that's one possibility. But it is a very strange up-in-the-air situation.
Fact.
But basically, you're talking about winners and losers. I agree with you. I think that Meghan is a big winner in this. She's got pretty much what she wants. I don't think she's bothered about HRH in front of her name as long as she can call herself the Duchess of Sussex and make money and do the deals and support the charities and causes she wants to. I think Harry at the moment is partly a winner, but could be a big loser in the long run. As you say, he's given up a lot. He's given up to some extent.
Are you serious?
His friends, his family, his attachments,
everything
with the military. I mean, something like, as you say, the Captain General of the Marines, which he was handed by Prince Philip. That's not a light thing. That's something that he would have been very, very proud of.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
And I think to give that up is going to be very difficult for him. And he's going to carry on, of course, with the Invictus Games. That's the one massive, success story that he can claim. But to lose all those things is going to be very difficult. Interestingly, one thing...
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
You haven't mentioned so far is that this is going to be reviewed in 12 months.
Yeah.
So if it's not working, or if the Queen feels that they're becoming too commercial, or if it's just not working out for them, this can change. So this is how we move forward. We still don't know about.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
About the costs of security, but there's still quite a lot of unanswered questions.
Reviewed in a year's time. But you know what, Phil? Somehow I don't see Meghan moving back. Do you?
I don't see her moving back. I mean, they're saying that they're going to keep Frogmore Cottage. They're going to pay back the cost on that, but they are going to keep it as their home. What is going to be interesting in the next couple of months, all of this starts in the spring, they're saying, and they might have a couple of jobs before then, and I shall be absolutely fascinated to see if they do actually come into contact with members of the public, what sort of reaction they get. I'm sure there'll be some people who will just, as usual, be in awe of them and just clap them and cheer them. But I just wonder whether there'll be anyone who'll be slightly less enthusiastic.
It's interesting, Phil, isn't it? There is a generational split on this. I mean, I was last week.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Using the word duty. He was born to this. It's a duty. He's letting the side down, and I think actually, probably a significant majority of the over 40s in the country, over 50s in the country, feel that.
Are you serious?
And yet, younger people say they should just be happy.
Yeah.
So, and I guess, in a sense, if they are giving up the titles and they are giving up, many.
Wait for it.
Many of the things that go with royalty, in a sense, they've got a chance to go and be happy, haven't they?
Absolutely, and I wish them happiness. I genuinely hope this is the best thing for them. I genuinely hope they can make it work, and who knows, in 4 or 5 years we may look back and say it was a good thing for the monarchy. You never know if it works in some way. It could reboot them, but at the moment I have my doubts. As I say, my one big fear is that something might go wrong with their marriage, and then we're going to be really in trouble because
in a very odd place.
We're going to be Harry's going to have massive problems there. So I hope it does work. I think even people who, older people, as you say, look at the Queen's sense of duty and the shift that she's put in for 67 years, they will sympathise and say, well, if you want to go off, good luck, but we don't necessarily feel we ought to pay for it.
And is this the modern day abdication?
It is. It's obviously not quite the same as Edward VIII because he was never going to be. He was never heir to the throne. He was all, and he's now 6 in line to the throne. So
he's giving that up too, isn't he?
He's
very good question.
No, he's still going to be 6 in line to the throne. Yeah, he's not going to give that up. He'll still be 6 in line. He'll still be the Duke of Sussex, but he'll be on the same sort of status and level as the other 20 or 30 odd dukes in the country.
What is he doing?
People like the Duke of Devonshire and he won't have the royal title, so he'll just be a duke. Yeah. But he'll still be 6 in line to the throne. Archie will still be 7th in line to the throne, and they're still there if needed.
Now they've
stop it.
Promised, haven't they, to uphold the values of Her Majesty. And that, I'm guessing, is referring to what kind of commercial arrangements they're about to go into. What do you think would be appropriate? What do you think would be inappropriate?
Very good question.
This is the big question in my mind. Is it going to be? Are they going to have some tacky sponsorships, or are they going to do some charity deal? And while Meghan flashes a Rolex watch or something, and then 2 days later there's an advert for it. This is going to. Whether they can keep the royal, that doesn't seem to have been quite thrashed out yet. But this I think is going to be the fundamental problem, and this is why I think they're going to review it after 12 months, because if they feel it's getting too cheap and too tacky, I think Thomas Markle, her dad, has already made apparently a TV interview which is going to be shown soon, in which he says rather accurately, she's turning the monarchy into Walmart with a crown on, and I thought that was quite a good analogy.
Get some help.
That is the big danger.
Yeah, well, we had a former Royal Marines officer, an SBS officer last week, saying we cannot have the monarchy privatised.
No.
And I guess that's why the titles, in a sense, have to go. And that's why I don't think the website Royal Sussex can be sustainable for that reason.
No, I don't. Coming back to the winners and losers, one thing I did want to say before we go, Nigel, is that I think the other big loser in this is Prince William. I feel very, very sorry for him. Right at the heart of this is two brothers who were once very, very close, falling out. That was probably the start of the problems. And now, of course, not only has he lost, a brother to some extent. I mean, I hope they make it up and I hope they're still in contact. But, to all intents and purposes, his brother's going to be living abroad, so he's not going to see much of him.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
He hasn't got that support. But now there's a hell of a burden on William and Kate because, the Queen is nearly 94. Prince Philip's retired at 98.
Yep. Prince Andrew's out of the picture.
Are you serious?
Be the big problem. How are they going to be financially independent? How are they going to make money without commercialising and cheapening the monarchy? And it's not clear yet whether they can continue to use the Sussex royal name, whether they're just going to have to change it to Sussex or